Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight on Our News, the country's dismal financial state. The prison chief fires back. Are the days of parading suspects in front of cameras over? And meet Rev and Alive's first director of speed and connection. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, days after he was placed on administrative leave, Prison Commissioner Charles Murphy has retained legal counsel. His attorney, Ramona Farquharson Seymour, says her client maintains he did nothing wrong and this ordeal is taking a toll on his family. Bethany McDermott reports.
And we're told that no, it's nothing political. Well, if it's not political, then what is it?
After being abruptly placed on administrative leave, Commissioner of Corrections Charles Murphy's attorney is suggesting that the move was political. They're hoping both sides can sit and resolve the matter. Failing that, it will proceed to court. Ramona Farquharson Seymour said on September 27th, Murphy showed up to what he thought was a briefing with newly appointed National Security Minister Wayne Munro.
As he was debriefing and speaking with the minister as to what is happening at the department, he was then abruptly, he says, informed, Mr. Murphy, let me be honest with you. The government is not prepared to work with you.
She said her client then asked why, and the answer he got was that he ran the Department of Corrections illegally. He was then informed, she said, that he contravened a Supreme Court order mandating the release of Prescott Smith. Her client insisted that wasn't the case. Farquharson Seymour claims Smith's attorney showed up at the prison after the hours of release without the proper documents.
It was not a release certificate. It was a court order.
She said at no point was the prison commissioner given a chance to respond to any of the claims. She took issue with the manner in which it was handled, as well as this letter advising Murphy of his leave.
You can see from this letter, which advises him of administrative leave immediately. There are no grounds listed here. No reasons for this type of action. The duration of the leave is not there. When would he be given an opportunity to speak for due process? Likewise again, nothing.
Then there's the question of a conflict of interest. While the National Security Minister denies that claim, Farquharson Seymour says the evidence is clear.
How is it that you hold or that you would assume the very office that you're suing? How is that? And again, I say to the people, do you consider that to be a conflict?
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
Meanwhile, 3 weeks after taking office, Prime Minister Philip Davis says the country's financial state is dismal. Minister of Economic Affairs Michael Halkitis explained that financial reports indicate certain policy responses by the previous administration added to the strain caused by the pandemic. Kaya Joaquin reports.
Yes, and it's dismal, and we are trying to get some questions and answers.
With the Bahamas already at junk bond status following a recent downgrade from credit ratings agency Moody's, Prime Minister Philip Davis says after meeting with the financial secretary and getting a look at where the country is financially, it's not good. But when asked for more detail,
I don't want to say no more than that right now.
While he wouldn't say much more, Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkitis told Our News Davis's statement was the result of an initial assessment conducted by the government's finance team.
We've been hard hit, and what we're doing right now is having an assessment completed. We've done the assessment, so we got some initial information. We're having a complete assessment done of the state of the finances, what our liabilities are, what our obligations are, the timing of those things, and we have to get down to work.
Halkitis said while the response of the previous minister administration to certain situations is to blame, there was also COVID-19.
Most of it, and certain policy responses that we thought might have gone overboard and impacted the economy. We're happy to be able to begin to loosen the strings on the economy.
While in opposition, the PLP promised to reduce VAT at a rate of 10% for 1 year. In light of the findings of these financial assessments, we asked Halkitis if that is still the plan.
We made that commitment to reduce VAT, and we want to do that very early. A part of our strategy is to make up any potential shortfall is to just refocus on revenue enhancement, meaning collecting what's out there that's not being collected, not implementing any new taxes, but just making sure that those who owe and can afford to pay are given an opportunity to pay.
As there are no plans for new taxes, Halkida said the government will do what it must to help the business community to rebound. Now again, Davis says his team is going through the findings and will release information as soon as possible. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Prime Minister Davis defending the appointment of former Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald as senior policy advisor. OPM came under fire last week after it released a photo on social media announcing Fitzgerald's appointment. That post was deleted and a vague statement was released 3 days later. Davis says he's looking for the best and questioned what scandals people are talking about.
For the best and brightest amongst us to help me carry through the big changes I have for this country. He's one person I have some confidence in to be able to help me deliver that. What past scandals? Yes, no, what past scandals? No, identify what the scandal is and I'll respond to it. No, yeah, it was nothing to do with that.
Well, 8 government senators-elect received their instruments of appointment today. Tyrell Young, Barry Griffin Jr., Randy Roll, Ronald Duncombe, Lachelle Adderley, Quinton Lightbourne, Darren Pickstock, and Dr. Erica Hepburn received their appointment letters at the Office of the Governor General. The group will take their official oath on Wednesday.
It's indeed an honor and a privilege to be able to be selected by the Prime Minister to serve as a senator. You know, it sounds true to the adage of it's a new day, not just in the country, but from a political standpoint, whereas the Progressive Liberal Party has now put in place some young professionals to be able to serve as senators. And I think it's profound, and I think given the opportunity, I'm honored, I'm privileged.
Griffin, a 33-year-old attorney, says he's grateful for the opportunity to serve his country.
To give vigorous debate on the bills that are proposed and to ensure that all facets of Bahamian society are absolutely represented by what the PLP passes in the House and the Senate. Well, it's exciting, like I said, that the Prime Minister would have such confidence in young people. It shows that it's absolutely a new day and that young people will have a seat at the table. And so my plan is just to make sure that the views of millennials, Generation Z, that we do have our views at the table.
Shifting gears now, the Prime Minister says he doesn't regret penning a letter to a U.S. judge to end federal authorities' pursuit of Island Luxe co-founder Adrian Fox. In a letter dated August 10, 2021, Davis said, "I strongly advocate for the termination of proceedings against Mr. Adrian Fox." Davis says he has seen his former client change his life for the better.
He has so reordered his life that and his philanthropy and what he's been doing and helping his community, I thought it only fitting for me to say to the courts what I thought of him. Those are my views.
Fox's plea deal with U.S. authorities, which omits mention of human smuggling charges, resulted in him agreeing to plead guilty to one count of helping to operate a vessel in U.S. waters in a grossly negligent manner. He's scheduled to be sentenced on October 15th. His attorneys are hoping for just a fine, probation, and 100 hours of community service in the Bahamas.
No regrets now that you're the Prime Minister?
No, no regrets.
Okay, thank you, folks.
Well, the Rev and Alive Group announcing its first Director of Speed and Connection today. But what's different about this position is who is filling the role. Top company executives traveling to Florida today in preparation for the announcement. Jerome Sawyer reports.
And then go.
When two-time Olympic 400-meter gold medalist Shawnee Miller-Weibo starts a race, there's almost always victory involved, and a multi-year deal as brand ambassador for the Rev Alive Group is expected to be no less of a win.
As the Director of Speed and Connection, I just want to say thank you guys so much for having me a part of the team.
A gleeful Miller-Weibo got her first interaction with company executives Monday at her training facility in Clermont, Florida.
Welcome to the company. It's so great for you to be a part of the team.
It also gave Alive's Chief Executive Officer John Gomez a chance to formally welcome this Bahamian superstar into the family of an all-Bahamian telecommunications giant.
When you talk about the brands in terms of the resilience, the reliability, the performance of the network, the innovation, and when you look at what Shawnee has accomplished in terms of her gold medals, and not just that, but her whole entire journey along the way, it's a great partnership in terms of the excellence that she portrays, the excellence of what we portray as a group, that we can be able to join as partners to be able to leverage both of these.
The deal will give the 400-meter champ a chance to earn compensation as the Director of Speed and Connection and face of a well-known local brand.
Being the new director of Speed and Connection, I'm very excited with the title. But yeah, overall, I'm just really excited to work with Alive and Rev TV, and I think we're going to do a lot in our time together, and yeah, hopefully bring out the best on both sides.
And both sides are looking for back-to-back wins.
It's always great to have a part of home with you, and to have the endorsement with Rev TV and Alive. It's a great feeling, like I said.
There's one word that sums it all up: excellence. And this is something that she has driven and she has shown and continuously demonstrates with her particular brand.
Over the next 4 years, when she's not training at the facility here in Claremont, Shawnee is going to be pretty busy. She's going to be the face of Rev and Alive ad campaigns, that along with a lot of virtual and in-person appearances and quite a bit of planned charity work. All of this as company officials couldn't be more excited to get this deal started. From Claremont, Florida, for our news, I'm Jerome Sawyer.
Thanks, Jerome. Partly cloudy conditions in the capital. Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with our first look.
Thanks, Christina. Welcome everybody for your first look at weather, brought to you tonight by Ports International, trusted medical supplies for a better quality of life. Warm outside our studios right now. Temperatures are in the mid-80s. 84 is our current temperature with a few clouds. Most of those are high. Your winds out of the east at 7 knots and your feels like temperature in the mid to upper 80s. Satellite view around the area. We have very nice conditions across most of the Bahamas, but down near the southeast islands, broad area of low pressure with some showers and thunderstorms. The National Hurricane Center watching that, giving that about a 10% chance for formation over the next couple of days. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come. Thanks, Christina. Welcome everybody for your first look at weather, brought to you tonight by Ports International, trusted medical supply.
Still to come on our news, the bus driver in last week's high-speed chase gets jail time and new COVID protocols at the prison. Find out more after this. A new prime minister.
We have the right vision, the right policies, and the right team to take this country forward.
A new government and cabinet. And now a new legislative agenda.
We would be very, very aggressive and make them extremely accountable.
Join the RTV team as we give you full coverage of the opening of Parliament, October 6th, 9 a.m. National Security Minister Wayne Munroe says he has no issue with a decision made by the Royal Bahamas Police Force to no longer parade suspects into court to be charged.
The Magistrates Court building was designed with a cell block that you drove the prisoners into. There are corridors behind the court so that prisoners are not exposed to views. It has always been my view that it is not right and proper to display people.
The police force says the move was part of new safety protocols.
I'm very happy to see that the police anticipate what would be some of my concerns.
And the driver of that omnibus carrying $3 million of marijuana pled guilty today. Theodore James Ferguson was charged with 1 count of conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs with intent to supply and 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply. According to court dockets, officers tried to stop a purple bus with its headlights off last Friday. A high-speed chase ensued and the bus crashed into bushes. A search of the bus revealed more than 3,000 pounds of marijuana. When officers caught up with Ferguson, he admitted to being the driver. Magistrate Darren Roll sentenced the 54-year-old father of 8 to 3 years in prison and fined him $10,000. And National Security Minister Wayne Munroe announcing the Department of Corrections will introduce a number of COVID-19 mitigation measures, including rapid antigen testing for incoming inmates in a bid to prevent a catastrophic situation at the prison. Jasmine Brown reports.
The National Security Minister made the comments as he toured 2 other law enforcement agencies that fall under his ministry. Now, when it comes to the Department of Corrections, he says the safety protocols there will be overhauled.
I saw health and safety issues that I've directed the 2 deputy commissioners to address. All of our institutions must be safe for the public servants, public officers who must use them, and for the other stakeholders like the inmates.
The National Security Minister citing several health and safety concerns at the Bahamas Department of Corrections, saying they must be addressed. Monroe said some of the briefings he received did not line up with what he saw during his tour of the facility. He added the prison doctor recommended several changes to prevent the spread of COVID-19, but says many of them were not implemented.
I'm happy to say that we will now have disinfecting of the prison every day, as opposed to when somebody supposedly is infected, which was a freestanding recommendation by Dr. Johnson. We'll have to see how we can get at least rapid antigen testing of new persons coming into the prison to have some sort of risk analysis, something that was not instituted, even though rapid antigen kits aren't very expensive. What they prevent is something that can be catastrophic.
On October 5, 2020, then Minister of National Security Marvin Dame said 31 COVID-19 cases had been reported at BDOCS between March and September. Monroe said the prison is investigating one new case.
We are now moving in the direction, as this government is committed to follow the science and to listen to what the medical people say, and we have Dr. Johnson up there, who is very capable.
Last week, Commissioner of Corrections Charles Murphy was placed on immediate leave pending an investigation into several matters at the prison. Murphy fired back by telling the Tribune that the accusations were baseless. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and its U.S. counterparts intercepted another 2 illegal vessels en route to the Bahamas over the weekend. Immigration Minister Keith Bell says those individuals have already been turned around.
They have intercepted 2 other boats out in the Atlantic, and they have turned them around. And so they're doing a yeoman's job in terms of blocking the passage. And so in terms of a figure we can, because we hope that none gets through. But we know that more on the way, and we're trying to stop them and turn them back around.
In excess of 500 Haitian migrants were repatriated last week, and 400 more are set to return home this week. Bell says government is moving fast with arraignments and repatriations, as more illegal migrants are said to be on their way to the Bahamas.
The chief magistrate and the team are down there, and as I am made to understand, they've started the court trials. Once those trials are completed, we will send a diplomatic note to Haiti, working with the embassy to ensure that the repatriation is swift as well.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Up next, the world's 3rd largest cryptocurrency exchange makes its mark on the Bahamas, and the WNBA playoffs heat up. The details when our news returns. A new prime minister.
And we have the right vision, the right policies, and the right team to take this country forward.
A new government and cabinet. And now, a new legislative agenda.
We will be very, very aggressive and make them extremely accountable.
Join the RTV team as we give you full coverage of the opening of Parliament. October 6th, 9 a.m. This is our news. Welcome back. The world's 3rd largest cryptocurrency exchange cut the ribbons on its new Lyford Key office this morning. FTX Digital Markets is now the first company registered with the Securities Commission of the Bahamas as a digital asset exchange. The company is set to achieve just under $1 billion in revenue this year. Founder Sam Bankman-Fried says he's excited to establish a presence in the Bahamas.
I'm really proud of what we've done so far in the Bahamas to support local schools and local initiatives. but hopefully that's nothing compared to what we will do.
As we seek to collaborate in matters around immigration, financial services, tourism, broadcast, and other areas, we hope that the presence of FTX in the Bahamas symbolizes that this is indeed a space and verification that we remain the clear choice.
FTX has already begun investing in local charitable efforts.
The benefits of this technology has the potential to drive advancements in financial services, healthcare, the arts and culture, to create new opportunities for local professionals and improve the quality of life for many Bahamians.
Well, Jonquil Jones and the Sun feeling the heat in the WNBA playoff series. Marcellus Hall has that tonight in sports.
All right, thanks and welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. The thing about sports is that there's no such thing as a foregone conclusion. No matter how much of a heavy favorite you are, the other team still has a chance. That's why you play the game. That's the hard lesson the Connecticut Sun are learning to this point because they find themselves down 2-1 in this best of 5 against Chicago Sky. Take a look at last game.
Jonquil Jones and the Connecticut Sun finding that being the #1 seed does not mean an automatic chance to get into the championship. And as a matter of fact, they're finding the going kind of difficult against the Chicago Sky. Game 3 of their semifinal series. And let's just say this one did not go quite as planned for Connecticut. Playing in Chicago, looking to take a 2-1 series lead. Chicago, though, had different ideas. They go on to win this one 86-83, taking a 2-1 lead now in this best of 5 and putting Connecticut's back up against the wall. They'll need to win when the series shifts on Wednesday if they want to stay alive. Otherwise, elimination staring them in the face, which would be a disappointing end to the season after coming in with the best record and being the #1 seed overall. How about our girl Brittany Jonquil Jones finished up with 10 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Another slow night offensively after having such a stellar early campaign, but looking to turn around as the series again shifts for Game 4, which will take place, as you mentioned, again in Chicago. A win or go home situation for the Sun. Last game of the regular season on the baseball side for Jazz Chisholm and the Miami Marlins. Jazz going 1-for-4 in this final contest, and the Marlins end the year on a good note. They get a victory to finish off the year. Final score ends up being 5-4. They still end up with a low record, 67-95, 4th in the National League East.
And there it is, your check on sports for you here on this Monday. Full details tonight's Monday Night Football game, as well as a little preview of what's ahead for Jonquil and the Sun. That's all coming up for you tomorrow. Meanwhile, back to you.
Thanks, Marcellus. Up next, a family-based business cooks up sprigs of parsley. Stay with us. A new prime minister.
We have the right vision, the right policies, and the right team to take this country forward.
A new government and cabinet. And now, a new legislative agenda.
We would be very, very aggressive and make them extremely accountable.
Join the RTV team as we give you full coverage of the opening of Parliament. October 6th, 9 a.m. Welcome back to our news. A sunny start to the week, but will it last? Greg is back in the Weather Center with the extended outlook.
Thanks again, Christina, and welcome back, everybody, for your second look at weather. We are still in the tropics as we're watching 2 systems out there. Victor is no longer with us anymore. Last advisory issued early this morning. It's fallen apart. Sam, still a very potent storm across the extreme North Atlantic, continuing to pull towards the north, should move into some cooler weathers and weaken over the next couple of days. National Hurricane Center now watching an area near the southeast Bahamas. Broad trough with some showers and thunderstorms associated with that. Should move towards the north. 10% chance for formation over the next couple of days, but we expect it to merge with the frontal boundary by mid to the end of the week. Beaching and boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight to tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 with some slight swells out there. While in the southeast Bahamas, a caution flag for you guys down there. Southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, seas running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Saturday. That's a look at our weather. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. A family-based restaurant is hoping to help food lovers meet their health goals. Giorgio Bain got a taste of Sprigs of Parsley.
Feeding the mind, body, and spirit is the motto here at Sprigs of Parsley.
We wanted to show people there are so much ways that you can enjoy a vegan meal. You can make this vegan meal for non-vegans to enjoy as well, where when you're eating it, it tastes just like a meat dish.
What started out in 2017 as a home-based takeaway preparing Sunday dinners has blossomed into Sprigs of Parsley, a full-fledged family business named after the owner's favorite herb.
We wanted to offer delicious vegan food because you had persons who were interested in transitioning over to a meatless lifestyle, but their complaint was boredom in terms of not knowing what to fix, not knowing how to spice up their dishes.
Sprigs of Parsley serves up something for the foodie in all of us. Don't let the name fool you. The plant-based menu is far from limited to leafy greens.
We have some crowd favorites, such as our black rice. That is a signature starch here at Sprigs of Parsley, and it is very high in antioxidants, similar to blueberries. It started as the forbidden rice years ago, and so it's very delicious, and we turn it into a black veggie fried rice. We also have our Juicy Lucy burger or our Clucker Classic.
Reporting for our news, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Thanks, Giorgio, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.